to manage views into version settings, and let's switch to create major versions. Okay, and we're just going to say okay. So what we're going to do now, we're going to drop back into Jane's view, and here in Jane's view, notice we're still on version 1 for this document. We're going to open that document back up. Let's edit that document. Now we're going to drop back, and what we see here is the version moves up to 2 because we've now switched on the ability for versions to begin to take place as we make changes. And as I exited the document, it saved it and added that version. So now if I go back to Jeff's view, you notice we see that second version here in Jeff's view. We're going to now edit that document again. And then we're going to drop back. What we're going to see here is that I made the change and we're on version 3. Now if we drop back into Jane's view, and what we see here in Jane's view again is version 3 that I've made that change. Now if we click here and say let's have a look at that version history for this document, what we're going to see here is, look, here's all the versions that have taken place. So there was my change and there's Jane's last 2 changes. And we have this option to go, okay, look, I want to restore this. So if we click restore, it's going to say we're about to replace the current version. So if I say okay, what we're going to do is we're going to create another version. So what it did here is we were on version 3, but we restored version 2. So instead of deleting version 3 and making version 2 version 3 if you like, what happened is we took version 2 and we made a new version, so we can still go back to version 3 if we want. Now this is the most up-to-date version. So when we come away from this, what we're going to see if we click on this document is we'll see here where Jane edited the major version, but where I then edited the major version, it doesn't show on here because that was in version 3, not in version 2, and we have restored version 2. So if we now go back to the document library, and we go back to the version history, and we say, do you know what, look, we're going to restore now version 3. Let's restore that. You're always going to get this alert that says, do you sure you want to do that? So we now get version 5 from version 3, which replaces it. And obviously here it tells you who has made the version change, as we're now in as Jane. Now if we now go back and have a look at this document, what we will see here is the fact that there is my comment. So this is, once you've got version control on, you can start making these changes. And if you want to roll back versions, you can do. So if I come in here and I edit this document, and I type in here Jane, edit, and I leave this open, and now we drop back into Jeff's view. So here in Jeff's view, I'm going to open that document up, I'm going to edit that document. We still get this very rich interface that tells us Jane's in here and she's making changes this where her cursor is. So we still get the same functionality where we can still edit together in real time. And yet, if we now drop back and save this document, we will still get that rich version control. We're now on version 7 here in Jeff's view. And if we drop back and look at what Jane sees, and there we are, version 7. So the document has been saved, and we've now got 7 versions if we look at that history, with the last change being saved by Jeff, who made the last editable change to that document. So hopefully this begins to start to explain some of the rich tapestry around the functionality for version control in SharePoint 2016 and how it's layered on top of each other. So far we've got the very basic out of the box editing of Word Online, and obviously you need the latest Office 365 suites, probably 2016, to do this effectively for both parties. And you've got that very rich ability to be able to edit the document at the same time and all the functionality that comes with Word. And then you layer that on top with this version control, so we can start rolling back those changes if we want to, if we see things that aren't quite right.